Hey everyone, it is time for our recruiting report with Otis Kirk. And Otis, high school football, it is finally back. And I know we've got some games that we want to talk about of a couple Arkansas commits that you can watch for in these games coming up. So let's start things off with the Thursday night matchup between Maumelle and Sylvan Hills.
Yeah, Maumelle won this game last year at Maumelle. This year it's at Sylvan Hills, Terra. Maumelle took a 27-21 victory. Andrew Chamley's an offensive lineman. Nico DeVille, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. Nico, take it easy on me, man, if I blew your name. But no, he told me it doesn't matter. But anyway, Nico and Andrew are big-time players. Big time recruits committed to Arkansas. Both of them are, committed to Arkansas, and they're two of the better players in the class of 2022. And they're going to get a chance to open the season at Sylvan Hills. It'll be a tough game. Sylvan Hills had a very good team last year, too. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. But, what I mean by that is last year COVID played so much at tricks with this season. We're hoping this season that most of the teams can get through, or all the teams basically can get through and not have to deal with all the COVID issues they had to last year. Because last year, whenever team played, I'm not talking about just these two, but when every team played, you never knew who was going to be able to play and who wasn't.
Right.
It had to drive the coaches crazy, and the people, the coaches and everybody, and the fans, and everybody. And so hopefully we get through a season this year without so many COVID interruptions. Interruptions. Yeah.
Well, we've also got 3 games on Friday night with a couple of Arkansas commits. So Conway at Fayetteville and Manny Powell will be playing in that game.
Ooh, man, I tell you what, there's some talent on that Fayetteville team, and Manny's one of them. I tell you what, he and Caden Turner, if there's a better linebacker combo anywhere, I don't know where it would be. Caden's going to Indiana. Isaiah Satagna is going to Oregon, and Manny Powell going to Arkansas. So you've got 3 big-time recruits in that game.
No kidding.
Conway always has a good team. I mean, they won this game 38-21 last season, Tara. So it was at Conway. So this game's at Fayetteville. I think Fayetteville's going to be better this year than they were last year. Like I said, they've got some other players besides just the 3 that I mentioned who are D1 commitments. They've got some other players that are good. And as I said, Conway will always have decent players. So this should be a pretty good game. But Manny is, we know came from Canton McKinley, Ohio, committed to Arkansas, moved to Fayetteville, going to play the season with the Purple Dogs, and then we'll enroll at Arkansas in January and be a linebacker. Jordan Crook's going to enroll at midterm. I've got to find out if Caden Henley's going to, because I know the other 2 linebackers are coming in at midterm. So we'll see. I'll talk to Caden. I'm not sure private schools allow that, but some of them do and some don't. But I'll check on Caden. But I should have already done that. But I know Manny and Jordan are going to be midterm transfers at linebacker. So, with all the seniors Arkansas has at that position this year, Tara, with Grant and Dede and Bumper and, and the other Hayden Henry, only one that could come back if he wanted to would be Bumper Poole. The rest of the kids are the super seniors. So it'll be interesting to see if these kids coming in, these linebackers we're talking about, they may get a chance to contribute very early over there. And of course, you got Chris Paul, you've got, Andrew Parker and some kids, they're on the team that'll be back. But these linebackers will have a chance to make a name for themselves pretty early at Arkansas. They realize that too.
Yeah, and I love the story about Manny Powell and just how much he loves Arkansas. So that's really cool.
I mean, he wanted to come down here. He said he's going to spend the next 3, 4, 5 years here. So he wanted to get here now. And you got to take your hat off to him. I mean, it's a kid that, his mother up and moved down here. And it's great of them to do that. I mean, that shows you he's committed to Arkansas. And certainly better to have a kid committed to you in Fayetteville, Arkansas than Canton, Ohio. Especially when Michigan and everybody else is trying to get that kid, So you've got him here, and that's why I said it's big news. Some people didn't think it was. I thought it was huge news. The fact they was at Fayetteville. That makes it so much easier to keep that commitment because you see kids decommit all the time, and there's a good chance. Well, I mean, with him being at Fayetteville, he's not going to decommit with Arkansas.
No. Well, we've got a game out in Central Arkansas as well. We've got Pulaski and Joe T. Robinson with Amarian Harris playing in that one.
Yeah, and Joe Hyman's committed to Northwestern. Joseph Hyman, the running back at Pulaski Academy with the Bruins, and I heard I was talking to Lanny, and Lanny said he had a big game against Bryant the other day, and we know how good Bryant is. I think they've won about the last 100 championships in the 7A. But no, I mean, Marion, boy, I tell you what. He's a big kid, and he plays both ways for Joe T. And that's tough on a kid that size, and this heat, especially later on in the season, probably not a big issue, but early in the season, JJ Hollingsworth does that with Greenland. It's just tough for those kids. But I'll tell you, Marion, he gives you everything he's got when he's in there. He's one of the best. He and Andrew Chamley, you could tell Coach Cody Kendi was all smiles when he stood between those two mountains, Little Rock Towers or Central Arkansas Towers, whatever he called them. Well, that's what their towers for sure, man. That's two big kids, and that's two offensive tackles from right here in your state that you've got committed, and not only got them committed, not only in-state kids. I mean, we're talking about 4-star recruits too. These are big-time players, Tara. They're not just kids that's committed. Oh, we're going to offer him. He looks good, and everything. No, these are big time players with talent. Both of them could have gone to. Both of them could have gone to a lot of school. I always go back to the fact that Nick Saban offered Amarian Harris in the 9th grade. That's probably enough to say on that one. And then family just, that kid had offered. Well, he visited Oklahoma State and Miami and chose Arkansas, and he had other offers too. He had a ton of offers. So I mean, all these kids that we're talking about on here today actually had plenty of offers and could have gone to other schools, but they're coming to Arkansas because they want to help make Arkansas be as good as it can be again.
And I think Caden Henley is probably one of those guys as well. He's going to be playing in the Shiloh Christian versus Pea Ridge matchup on Friday.
Yeah, and that Shiloh won that game 47-14 last year. They were the 4A state champs. I should have mentioned earlier that Joe T was the 5A state champ in Joe T, was the 4A state champ in 2019, and then in 2020, PA won the state championship. In 2020, PA won the state championship in 5A again. Mm-hmm. They seem to win it every year, and they're probably favored to win again. So we're talking about some teams on here that are good teams, not just great talent. But yeah, Caden Henley, they beat Pea Ridge 47-14 last year. This game's at Pea Ridge. It's a game that kind of makes Pea Ridge, this is a game that Pea Ridge probably has circled. They want to play Shiloh. Why not? You've really got nothing to lose in the sense that Shiloh's going to be favored by everybody that picks high school games. They're going to be favored, but the game is played on the field, and that's why you play it on the field. And I know Pea Ridge has a competitive program out there. They've when I did more high school coverage, like with the newspapers, I covered some games out there, and they're always competitive. I mean,
oh yeah,
they may get beat, but and simply out talented in some cases, but they're going to play hard. They're going to play well, and they're at home. And those Pea Ridge fans will definitely be out in full abundance, and they'd like nothing more. But Shiloh has got a very good team, and I saw them at the. I saw them at the Arkansas Razorback 7-on-7. Then I saw them at I think Southwest Classics, what it was called. It was at Shiloh, and I saw them at that. And they won the one at Arkansas, didn't win the one up there, but they really got some talent. They lost some players from last year, but I think they've got their quarterback back, and they've got, he's got an offer to Central Florida with Gus. They've got, of course, we know Henley's back, and they've got other players too. And so they've got some good players on that team. They're very well coached. That's one thing I will say this about Shiloh. You may not find a better coached team in Arkansas than them. I mean, I'm not saying Jeff's the best coach, but I'm saying he has them as well coached and prepared as any coach in Arkansas. And you can make an argument, definitely he's the best coach, but that same could be said for Coach Bryant, and other coaches too. Yeah. But Jeff Conaway gets that team ready to play every year. They compete, and they've got some talent. But they went through a couple of down seasons too, where they didn't have all the great college talent, and they still were competitive. But it's a good program, and these are going to be 4 good games, and it's good to get high school football going again,
Yeah.
and everything, and just get out and see some of this. And like I said, I really hope COVID doesn't
Mess it
play
up.
really big. It's not a big factor in the high schools
Yeah.
and college
Right.
seasons, so we can get back to some kind of normalcy, but not have to worry about who's not there on Saturday or Friday night or Thursday night because of COVID, and half the team has to
Yeah.
quarantine or something. So hopefully we can avoid that this year and get to see some good football.
Yeah.
See teams and talent. These games,
Of course.
good teams, very well coached. All of them are well coached teams, all of them.
Yeah.
And then some good talent too. And there's kids I didn't mention today because maybe they don't have Division I offers right now, but there'll be some kids that I didn't mention that will have some Division I. Shiloh's got a defensive end. It's going to be a junior this season, I believe. Yeah, and he's going to, the dark kid, he's going to have some Division I offers. I promise you, he's going to get a bunch of them. So there's talent out there in these games, and you see more. Mail has more than just those 2 kids. Like I said, Fayetteville we know has more, than Conway always has somebody. And in PA,
Always.
Hyman's committed to Northwestern, and I mean, people are trying to debate: is he as good as Joyner? Is Joyner good as him? It's gonna be interesting right there in Little Rock, and they're friends too. And I saw both of them at 7-on-7 this summer down at Benton when I went down there. And that kid can play. Hyman can play. They can all play. And of course, we had James Joyner on here last week. He knocked it out of the park for us.
Well, Otis, I'm right there with you. I think we're all very excited about high school football returning this week, and our Fearless Friday show is starting up again as well. So hopefully everyone tunes in to see that. But I know you're also going to have a lot of articles written up on these guys and how they're doing. So of course we'll check out hogville.net for all of that info. But Otis, thank you so much as always for all your insight. That's going to do it for our recruiting report.
Can I say one thing real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, we're going to have a special guest on here next Sunday, and you don't want to miss it. I mean, I told Terry, I'm not going to announce who it is, but he'll be on here next Sunday, and you don't want to miss it. It's going to be a different guest than it's not someone committed to Arkansas. It's going to be someone else, and it's going to be fun, and it'll be a great time. Thanks, Tara.
I love it. Keeping us all on our toes, Otis. Thank you.
Mm.